That video, the one you just watched, was taken at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning in the middle of the night at the airport of McAllen, Texas, a city where I've been for the past 2 days, and the home of the nation's largest immigration processing center. What you see in that video, and it's a video you'll only see here on All In, is a small group of detained migrant teenagers, many in matching outfits, being marched single file out of the airport after getting off a flight at 2 in the morning, then put into a van by their handlers, destination unknown. We have this video thanks to my next guest, who quietly spoke to one of those kids on the flight. He told them she'd been detained and had no idea where she was being taken. Joining me now, the man who took the video, spoke to those kids, journalist Tim Wilkins with the activist group People's Action. Tell me about the context in which you saw these kids.
Yeah, I was on a flight, American Airlines flight from Dallas to McAllen. It was delayed, so left after midnight. And there was this group of very clean-cut, very polite young people who I noticed in the airport. Only when I got on the flight did I realize, when I saw their wristbands and their matching clothes, that there was something going on here. There were a total of 6 spread out through the plane, with 2 chaperones in the front and 2 in the back.
I want to play a little bit of your interview with this teenage girl. We can take a listen.
Can you tell me who you are, who you represent? Can you tell me that you work for the U.S. government? Can you tell you anything? Where are you taking these children? Can you tell you anything?
So that obviously wasn't the girl that you were interviewing. That was actually the person who was with the kids, who wouldn't give any information.
That's correct. While I was on the flight, I managed to speak discreetly with a young lady who was sitting in the row in front of me, who was had been detained 3 days earlier. She was from Guatemala and had been swept up with the others, and we're told, we're taking you, not told where or why.
Let's listen to that right now. So you were talking to her on the plane, sitting behind her?
Yeah, I was sitting right behind her and discreetly introduced myself.
Now, she says she came alone, and I just want to be clear here, because there's been sort of mixing of, like, children taken away from their parents and unaccompanied minors, which is something that existed before the Trump administration, under the Obama administration. She says she came alone, so for all we know, these were people that were not taken from their parents, right?
Based on the age of this first group that I observed, they were all young teens, 14, 15, 16. My guess is that they arrived in this country alone. Now, when I left McAllen the next morning, Monday morning, lo and behold, there was another group of minors sitting in the airport, and that group included 2 toddlers, a boy and a girl, clearly not older than 6 years old.
One of the things I think that people are discovering is both that children are being separated from their parents and then being cast to the 4 winds. Like those toddlers, if indeed they were taken from their parents, but also that there's this sort of, like, crazy system that has existed kind of under people's noses for years, stretching back to the Obama administration, of dispersing these unaccompanied minors across the country.
Absolutely. You know, there are some here in the New York area who are being resettled as we speak.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, that the airlines have now started to sort of raise a hue and cry about this. We had some information from one flight attendant who said she was lied to by ICE, who said that it was a soccer team. You can see in the video you took, they look like they're sort of in uniform. And American Airlines has now said, we have no knowledge the federal government has used American to transport children who have been separated from their parents due to the recent immigration policy, but we would be extremely disappointed to learn that that is the case. We've therefore requested the federal government to immediately refrain from using American for the purpose of transporting children who have been separated from their families due to the current immigration policy.
Well, as of this moment, they can consider themselves informed that detained children have been traveling on their flights. I was on the flight. I spoke to the young lady who confirmed that fact, so I certainly hope they'll follow through on that promise.
Do you know if anyone else associated with the airline knew?
witnessed an interaction in the Dallas airport where the two handlers, the burly man who you see in the video, had an exchange with the ticketing agents, clearly to get seat assignments or whatever. I thought it was curious, but I didn't even know that they were traveling as a group until I saw them reunited in the McAllen airport and realized that they were the handlers. So clearly, either American has a standing arrangement with ICE or with DHS, but clearly there's some arrangement in place.
Yeah, it seems unlikely that an airline, I mean, this is the sort of thing you would imagine has been sort of contracted in bulk rather than just a sort of one-off purchasing of tickets.
Correct. And we know that they have these agreements, but they would have had to identify these passengers in some way, and they all had their prison bracelets with their names on them.
Right. Tim Wilkins, thanks so much for being with me.
Thank you.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.